Kris, had a great defensive effort, and then like every game's different in the NHL playoffs. Take us kind of through the wild first 6-7 minutes of tonight's game.
I think the first 6-7 minutes was almost as wild as the next 53. It was wide open. There was a ton of turnovers, both sides, a lot of scoring chances. Not easy for either goaltender to play. And I thought Picks, under the circumstances, played really well under the deflection slots from the shot, or from the shots from the slot, one-timers. Yeah, it was, especially giving up a couple goals early. One was a breakaway. Wrist shot, maybe could not have, that was a bad goal, but they get 2 goals on the first 3 shots, and then I thought he was outstanding after that.
Last game you had, Klingberg and Kane combined on one, the Janmark huge goal. Tonight, Henrique scores, Frederick scores, Connor Brown has a great game. Your big guys still produce a lot, but can you just talk about those depth guys and how much they've come up and how much more maybe confidence you have to roll 4 lines even more?
Our depth guys have really stepped up during the playoffs when we've needed them most. And during the regular season, we thought they could provide a little more offense. They were good defensively, but when we needed them most during the playoffs, and it's more difficult to score, it's nice to see them contribute. And obviously, we rely heavily on Connor and Leon to provide most of our offense throughout the regular season and playoffs. But as good as they are, they can't provide it every single night. So it's nice to see that other guys step up, because we need it if we're going to have success.
You get really valuable minutes out of Kane, out of Klingberg, Frederick to a degree, and these were players you weren't sure what they were going to be able to give you. How big a swing was it when these guys came back and found their footing the way they did?
It was huge. It was tough after game 1, that we lost. Game 2 we lost also. But to go with these guys, and they weren't at their best, and not knowing when they're going to get to their best and if they're going to be better than the guys that aren't playing, because we do have some pretty good guys that aren't in the lineup right now that can help us. So it was a difficult decision, but we felt that this is why we had them. They are playoff performers with either their experience or type of player that they are, that they're going to help us. And we're very fortunate that we stuck with it, because I think they've been a great addition for our team.
A two-parter. Is Matthias Ekholm, any potential that he's available in the second round? And give us a thought on the way you're playing right now in the matchup against Vegas.
Matthias right now is doubtful for the second round. I think it's still going to be a little bit longer. And, for the series against Vegas, obviously there's a team that plays quite a bit different style than LA, with their systems and the type of personnel that they have, that it's going to give us a whole new challenge. And I don't want to underscore LA. LA is a good team, and I believe they had the best record in the second half of the season, so it wasn't easy by any means. And but the way we just the 2 systems, it's going to give us a different challenge, and we're going to have to change some things up. Things that were successful against LA, not necessarily is going to be successful against Vegas. So we haven't really looked at it too much right now. Obviously, we're focused on this series first, but starting tomorrow, we'll really look at what Vegas is doing.
Mentioned how Trent Frederick is really starting to come, and he feels like he's getting better, likes his hand. What have you seen from his progression from game 1 really to game 6? Because 7 minutes, I'm not sure if that even counts as a game earlier. And what maybe you've respected more about his game, because I'm not sure how much you knew about him before he came here.
I've been really impressed at how well he handles the puck in tight spaces, whether it's on the wall or getting a rebound, or just when there's traffic around him, a lot of bodies, he's able to protect it and make the right play. And I think he was good at that right from the start. But I guess the one thing that when he's starting to play, it just takes a while, especially for bigger guys. is getting their feet under him and start moving. And so often he was getting the puck and he was making good plays, but there's probably a better play if he'd been moving his feet. And as he's been playing more and getting comfortable, his feet are moving too, because it's, often when things are fast out there, your feet get paralyzed and you're not moving quite as fast as you should be. As you get more comfortable, then you start moving your feet, and then as you move your feet, things open up. But not that he was ever playing bad his first game. I think he was solid, but now he's starting to move his feet. Now he's starting to make some more plays, and the one with Rico and him driving the net, he's been able to move a lot more and start to contribute a little more offensively.
Kris, Calvin didn't have a ton of playoff experience before this series. What made you think that the moment wouldn't be too big for him? Why wasn't the moment too big for him in any of these games?
Well, I think I was never doubtful to throw him in because we kind of ripped the Band-Aid off last year. Put him in a very stressful, almost a must-win game against Vancouver, and he responded tremendously and gave us a lot of confidence. So the fact that we saw him, play extremely well through the regular season this year, winning a lot of games, especially in the second half of the year, and his experience of what he did last year in a very stressful, almost must-win performance. And this year, it was a lot easier to give him the net.
Over here. Just kind of as a follow-up to that, neither Pickard nor Connor Brown played in this series against the Kings last year, and here they are toward the end playing pretty pivotal roles. What does that say kind of about the depth of your team and specifically about those two players, how far they've come since that time?
We're very fortunate to have the depth that we have. Last year as well, we have good hockey players that were in and out of the lineup because of what we needed and who was playing well, maybe somebody who's banged up and all that stuff. Kind of in that same situation this year. And we haven't had as much fluctuation just because of, we're early in the playoff run here. It's only one series. But, it's nice as a coach having a lot of weapons at my disposal. Whether we need more offense, more grit, a little more speed, I think we've got a lot of options.
You usually win a lot of games with Connor and Leon, driving the bus. They had 3 total points in the last 2 games. Is that almost a good thing for this team, that you can win other ways?
It is nice to know that we can win when they're not the only guys producing. And it's been shown that we can win. This team has won a lot of games without them, but it's a heavy load on their shoulders to always be relying on them. And it's nice that other guys contribute. I'm sure it takes a lot of pressure off them, but also the other guys feel like they're helping this team win also.
Would you say this was more of a comeback series or exactly where you wanted them?
Sorry?
Would you say this is more of a comeback series or exactly where you wanted them?
The fact that we were down 2 games and were able to put together 4 in a row, it was, we had to come back. It was difficult, and the games that we came back and changed the momentum of the series. Game 3 and 4, those are games that we could have lost. Game 5 even, we didn't. It wasn't necessarily a comeback per se late, but we won late with a goal by Janmark with only a few minutes left in the game. Tonight too was another close one right to the end. So, but it was nice to see that we were able to recover after being down early in the series and ultimately win the series.
I'm not expecting you to name a game 1 starter for the opening or the next round here, but as you enter this next round, how are you going to view the goaltending now that Calvin has played these 4 really good games and you have Stu backing up?
My evaluation is we've got 2 really good goalies that we have confidence in and what we need. Either one of them can go in the nets, and we'll see how they're playing. And obviously, we've got a lot of confidence in Picks right now because of what he has done. He's won 4 games in a row. But if we need to change, we got a great second option